Hi everyone, this is Cheryl from Compass Quilt Company. Today I thought I'd share a project that's been very ongoing for me, and it all started with this box. This box doesn't look like much because there's not much left in it finally. I've had this bin for probably close to 10 years, and it originally started off very full of 2.5-inch squares. And I thought I'd finally put a dent in that bin. I've been working on things off and on. I started by taking just some of the squares, adding a bit of sashing, and here's one of the smaller ones there's one of the quilts that I put together. Just a simple little scrappy patchwork. This just goes to show sometimes we can underestimate the power of a 2.5-inch square, because this bin was full. So I've been working on 16 patches. I've got a bin over here where I've done a bunch of 9 patches. When you put them together, you can have fun. Those I have a bunch ready to lay out in a quilt. I have a bin now with 4.5-inch square, or 4x4 squares, I want to say. So similar to this one here, just the humble 4 patch, because sometimes you just need to sew things together. So this probably has enough to make 2 quilts in it. This one's definitely a quilt's worth of 9 patches and a couple of rogue 16 patches. But the reason I thought I'd hop on is because sometimes when you're laying out, or when you get a bunch of things and you make them scrappy, you can make them very scrappy. But sometimes you get multiples of the same colorway, and you're like, okay, what do I do? So I started making a bunch of squares that had, actually it's a 5x5 square is what I ended up with. And I laid them out, stacked them up on a design board, and I realized, hey, I've got enough to make a quilt. I was thinking of making it a big quilt because I had this one, they were all green and beige. This one, they were all a burgundy and beige. So once I realized how many I had of each, I was like, that's like lap sized if I just do them all as red ones, or burgundy, I should say. And I put a bit of sashing in. So I ended up with not just 1, 2. This was the green one. And then I still had squares left over. So I was like, let's see if I can make 1 more. Oops, there's some loose threads here. I guess I have to trim those. I ended up with 3 using a simple 5x5 square, laying them out, creating a bit of a pattern. All scrappy blocks, but it all works together. I sashed this one in a tan. Found a fun blue backing just to have some fun. Simple solid binding, because trying to get anything to go with that was going to be crazy. So I ended up with those. But the thing I'm excited about is that the big bin's finally down to a smaller bin with fewer colors left in it. And it's been a work in progress for 10 years. But let me just see if I can get the camera. No, camera doesn't want to follow me. Let me just rotate. I also have another one where they're just 4x4s on my design wall. So that's like 5 quilts. I'm sure there's one more that I've already donated, but these will be charity quilts for my local guild. And never underestimate the power of the 2.5-inch square, because sometimes you just need that mindless sewing. You put 2 together, you put 4 together, you lay them out as a block, you build a block one at a time in order to get them all nice as a 4x4. Oops, I didn't pull one out. Let's see if I have one handy here. Of course, they're all in use. I have little design boards that I put things on when I want to do a block that's got a complicated layout. Well, not complicated. I want to keep the blocks in the right order. Here's one. Just a piece of spare batting glued to a piece of foam core board. This one here, I've actually put a scrap binding on it and just glued it in place. Sometimes I also just use tape around the outside edge to keep it quick and easy. And then I can label the blocks. Here, this one's just got white tape I picked up at the dollar store. So really inexpensive, easy way to lay out your squares. Keeps all the blocks in order so that as you build them, you can kind of make a stack of a bunch that go together. And then as you build them, throw them all in a bin. And don't forget to put them on the wall once in a while and see what you come up with, because it doesn't take long before you've got 15, 20 or more squares. These ones were, I think the layout was, what was it, 4 squares by 5 squares. I added sashing because sometimes the sashing just gives a bit of breathing space, because when you've got lots of crazy or busy prints together, it can be a little overwhelming. So dial it down with a bit of sashing. You can choose any color, and all of a sudden the quilt has a bit more personality. Like these are almost the same colors, and the tan looks very different than the navy binding or the sashing. And you can have fun. And as a long arm quilter, it's always nice to put something together, bind it up, and pass it along to somebody who needs it. So hopefully this inspires you. You don't necessarily need to have a great big box, even a small box. See, here's another project on my these were some squares I'd cut up from a charm pack. This is a work in progress. I think I might put some sashing around these ones and see what that becomes. So sometimes you just need to have fun with your squares. Happy stitching, everybody!